What is going on, everybody? No more tears. It is Orktober, finally. And I cannot believe the amount of crybaby content on Facebook. So it's Orktober. Orktober is the release of all the orks, I guess, in 40k for 8th edition. And I think everybody's expecting to see everything October 1st, which is, it is what it is. I guess people are excited and then they get emotional. But kind of back to my other video, I think it's kind of become a trend to whine about releases. It's kind of odd. But one thing they did show is what appeared to be orc boys on 32 mil bases. I do believe I saw that in a photo. I don't think that was a fan photo. So a big discussion, a lot of salt, is people complaining about, I'm not going to rebase my 90 orc boys or my 100 orc boys or my 200 orc boys or whatever, right? And to me, if they release the orc boys, say a new kit, and they come with 32 mil bases, and you don't put in the effort to rebase from 25 mil up to 32, that's like ignoring a new rule in chapter approved or like an FAQ answer, right? Because they're clearly not just putting 32s because why not, right? They had a reason for it. But people think they're entitled because they spent some money on the hobby at some point, at some time in their life that forever this company owes them. And it's super weird. So if the orcs are re-released on 32 mil, how do you feel about rebasing all of your orcs? I hate that people in the hobby seem to think because they spent money they don't ever have to spend any more money or whatever it is. I'm not sure, but on eBay you can get 132 mil bases from China for $12. So for $24 you could get 232 mil bases, which is way more than you'll ever need to rebase every orc you have probably. And you don't even have to pop them off their base and redo it. You could just glue the 25 to the 32 and then add more basing material to kind of blend it in. You could cut around their base and then glue it to and add basing material. For some reason, a lot of orc armies have very minimal basing on their units. And I think that's because of how big the model is and how small the 25 mil base is. And I've seen actually quite a few orc armies that just leave them black. They don't even base them. So those people definitely can't complain about rebasing to 32. And I'm a pretty casual player, although I will play events. But it definitely feels like you should make an effort towards it. Or don't, if you're going to play on 25 mil, don't squish them all together and then claim you get, X number of attacks, knowing that each one of those models should have been taking up more space. So if you don't plan on switching to 32, I don't think you should try and game the system on having the 25. And I've seen Space Marine players do this even locally. They knowingly, all Space Marines come on 32s now. They still base their new ones on 25s because you can say fit more in like an aura. And 8th edition is a lot about auras, right? So there are I don't think it's game breaking either way, but I think it is approaching being like edgelord gamey to try and pretend you don't want to rebase them because of, say X money, time, effort, whatever. Your bases, if they're just sand or flock, you can do it again. It's pretty easy. But they try to pretend they shouldn't have to do it, but in reality, they're only pretending that because they really want all those extra attacks in hand-to-hand combat. but they're trying to like deflect that. So they're saying, oh, why should I have to rebase all my models? But in their mind, they're saying, oh, if I go on a bigger base, I don't get as many attacks. So that's unfortunate that people feel that way. I don't know, like I said, if it's game changing either way. I've actually, when I was working on, or the whole reason I bought my little Goliaths originally was they were going to be the cultists in my Thousand Sons army, and they are the only Necromunda gang that comes on 32 mil, and cultists are one of the few models that still come on 25. So I was debating on if I wanted to base them on 25 or base them on 32 and just squish them together, make sure they stay close together as if they were smaller bases. Because if you took a 32 and then measured that cheesy 2-inch gap and then put your next one and then measured the 2 inches that you see people do sometimes to spread way out, that will make a big difference over the course of 10 models. That's a lot more distance. 10 models, what would that be? 7 millimeters per guy, so 70 millimeters. So it adds up, and it does make a difference. Whether or not I think it's game changing, I don't know. But complaining about it seems odd. And it just reminds me of the beginning of Sigmar, when everybody was in a little rage about about rebasing for Sigmar. And in the beginning I thought, if you already had this old fantasy army on squares and you were going to rebase, or you didn't want to rebase to circles, it's fine. But as the game tightened up, and now Age of Sigmar 2, they have a base chart. And I think, you should be putting in the effort to rebase them. And I'm not saying you have to do this in any amount of time. You could be years before you do it. But think about it and consider it. And new stuff, make sure you're putting the new stuff on the rounds. Don't hold on to the past. It just seems silly. So I'm saying all of this too as a person that does not have all of their fantasy models on rounds, because I have a lot of old metal ones that I have not redone. And I'm actually just thinking about selling a lot of them, even though some of them are my favorite. I'm not sure the nostalgia is touching me the way it used to, and I'm focusing more on them being metal models that I kind of don't want to paint or rebase. And their value is pretty good. Good examples like Slaanesh. I have a ton of them. They just showed the new Fiend of Slaanesh, which looks awesome. And I don't know if new Demonettes or Seekers are coming, but I wouldn't mind switching all my Slaanesh over to plastic. So, it's just a thought. Let me know what you think of rebasing your orks to 32 mil. Like I said, this is all based on a photo and commentary in the Facebook groups. But I do believe if you're playing ITC, then I think you definitely should be on the current base size. If you're playing casual, probably doesn't matter. But if you're playing casual and purposely trying to use it to advantage, then maybe you're not as casual as you think, right? Maybe you're an edgelord. So that's about all I got for right now. I'll link the 132 mil bases on eBay below. I'll probably have to do that in the morning. I'm going to upload this right now at nighttime, but if you look up here, I got like a organizer, and I bought a ton of these bases. They've got to be like the same factory that makes the GW ones, because they're pretty much identical or very, very close. So definitely worth like 10 cents a base or whatever it is, right? It's like $12 for 100 of them. You buy it once, and then you're done. $12. Yeah, it's going to take some work, but that's what we do, right? We hobby. So, good times. Take care. Let me know also what you're looking forward to in Orktober. Comment below. Please subscribe. Check out my eBay store and buy some of my stuff. Oh, last thing, all my orks are up on eBay right now. Some of them have already sold. The Flash Gits, the Mega Knobs, I think are going to sell maybe here in the next day or so. So definitely check out that. I got orks on eBay. So if you're looking for some orks for Orktober, consider buying them.